Welcome back, Summer. I'm so tan. Today we're talking about the resurgence of Kate Bush and how she has a trending audio every single year. I can't name a single artist that has had a song that had a chokehold on TikTok every single year. I don't think it has that much correlation with Stranger Things anymore because we haven't had a season that's come out every single year. So something about Kate Bush. I just want to talk about Kate Bush and how she's such an icon. Kate Bush is so interesting to me because we've had Imogen Heap, who has trended on TikTok like every once in a while. But Kate Bush, she doesn't go away. And she's so interesting because she's not the norm. Like, her music is very whimsical and strange, and it reminds me of
fairycore
and
goblin core
and stuff like that. Where if you listen to Army Dreamers, have you listened to that song? It's so interesting. Like, even the music video is so interesting. And I use Apple Music. So I was on Apple Music and I was looking at Kate Bush's discography. And first of all, it's so interesting that most of her music is from the 80s. Like, who would have known that in the 2020s we would be listening to her music? It would be streamed in boatloads. Like, so many people are unironically listening to Kate Bush. And I could say that we can contribute a lot of her resurgence to Stranger Things. But the fact that this woman is trending every single year has got me. I don't know about y'all, but Kate Bush reminds me of the Frog and Toad series. There's just something about that art style. Cottagecore and forestcore, I feel like, to me, are like different. And her music reminds me more of cottagecore, where it's like you live close to society, but you're in the woods, so you don't live in like a neighborhood, and you see trees and toads and frogs more than you see people. That's Kate Bush to me. And the fact that so many people are able to listen to her music, whether they work in tech, they work on a farm, we all can just listen to her music and vibe. I just can't get over the fact that her music is from the 80s, 40-something years ago. One thing for sure is that Kate Bush and Imogen Heap, they deserve so much appreciation in the music world, so many awards, because so much of the foundation of today's music is from these legends. We get so much creativity, so much artistry, so much inspiration from these women, and these are just two out of so many. And they don't get the respect that they deserve the way that maybe producers would. And it makes sense to me because when you're taking inspiration from a producer, or you have like a producer that's producing like mass amounts of songs, it does make sense that they would get a lot of the credit versus someone that was playing around producing their own music and is a singer on the song. And let me explain to you how this works in my brain, like how I understand this in my brain. We all know Phineas, and Phineas is like a goated producer, but he also is a singer-songwriter. He gets most of his recognition from the songs that he produces more than he does for the songs that he creates for himself. When you think of Phineas, you probably think about the songs that he has created and not the songs that he has sang on. I don't really understand why it's a bigger deal and it leaves a bigger impression on people to make songs for other artists than it is to make songs for yourself. But it just is the way that it is. If we think about Ariana Grande.
You want me to sing or what?
Ariana, but
She does a lot of producing, a lot of vocal layering, writing on her own stuff as well. But she is seen more as a vocalist than she is as a producer, writer, creator of music. Again, I don't really know why people are not getting the credit that they are due when they produce and create their own tracks that they're on, and they're only given the credits if it's given to someone else. But that just goes to show that like people like Kate Bush and Imogen Heap deserve so much more, but they just created songs that they happen to also sing, and it doesn't really go super far if you're not like a mass producer for other up and coming artists or current artists at the time. I feel like Kate Bush should also get recognition for so many other things that she's inspired other than music. When I look at Kate Bush photos from the 80s, her hairstyle is so in style today, or at least it was like a couple years ago. But the whole like fluffiness on the top and like length at the bottom is so Kate Bush, and that was such a trend in like 2022. I think that was like peak when people were doing like the butterfly haircut and stuff like that. So much of that inspiration, I always felt like that credit should have been given to, I mean, obviously a lot of people, but Kate Bush, I don't think was ever mentioned in terms of hairstyle. Also hair color. I feel like we've been evolving with ginger, and obviously with the
economy dying in the US.
Ginger is kind of going out of style. But for the past half decade, I feel like every single year there was like a reddish color that was trending. And whether it was like cherry cola red, copper red, or copper orange, and then at one point it was like really light. I think strawberry blonde would probably be the closest thing to like a ginger orangey color. I don't really follow hair color trends or hairstyle trends. I kind of just do my own things.
Move. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. What do you mean you're gonna do your own thing?
I might not be 100% up to date on like what the next like ginger color is, or even if there is one, but that's just my understanding. And again, Kate Bush has such a 90s coded ginger hair. Like if you were gonna dye your hair ginger, like in the 80s, like that would have been it. Whereas in the early 2000s, if you're gonna dye your hair ginger or orange, like Hayley Williams had it, she had the it color. Today, it's so much easier to go into a salon and you have so many more shades. But back in those days, I feel like there was like one orange shade, and that was the orange shade that you were gonna get if you were looking for anywhere in the orange red tones. Honestly, we have artists today like Chappell Roan. Like I would say that Chappell Roan is not the next Kate Bush. I honestly don't think these new pop girlies or these new pop artists are recreations of past artists. I know a lot of people like to talk about that. On the guy side, perhaps maybe a little bit of that is going on, but in terms of the pop girlies, I really don't think there's like a remake of someone. But the first time that I had ever heard Chappell Roan, I thought her music was like Madonna being reborn. And you need to understand, I was grown up with Madonna. I had an original 2006 pink iPod Nano from Japan with a little pink silicone cover, and I mostly had Madonna on there. That was my tea. That was what I was listening to back then. When I heard Chappell Roan for the very, very first time, it was giving Madonna to me. I don't think that there's like remake of artists. I just think that there's inspired by. That's what I was getting. I wasn't getting a lot of Kate Bush, but I did hear that with Chappell Roan, there's a lot of Fiona Apple inspiration. But yeah, that just like the big hair, like the brush out curls, the very 80s ginger shade. Like there's so much of just her look that I see in today. And again, going back to Chappell Roan does a very distinct makeup look, right? Like she does in a sense like somewhere between like clown makeup and drag, right? But like the blue eyeshadow, the vibrant lip, it's giving Kate Bush. I think Kate Bush deserves so much more recognition for her stage presence, her look, her character that she played, just as much as the 5 songs that have gone super uber viral on TikTok. Back to her being such a deeper person and just this like whimsical icon. There's so much lore behind the inspiration of a lot of her songs. It's really interesting because that lore comes with the song title itself. Like, I don't see a lot of people talking about Army Dreamers without understanding the lore behind that song. That song reminds me of like squirrels, water lilies, little ballerinas, like little tiny figurine ballerinas. Like it sounds so different than what the meaning and the inspiration behind the song is. It's really so iconic that she was able to marry the two things so well. I think that that is a really great inspiration for the next generation of artists, but honestly, she's been around for so long. But I think that we need more icons in the music industry where they're writing about really crazy things that are happening close to them or around the world. It kind of is just like a stable piece in history where people can say like, okay, this person was really writing about this thing and it came out in such a beautiful way. The strain of her voice and the pitch and octave in which she sings the song, the music video, like the word choice, everything is so beautifully well done, where it's just like an artist, it's an art piece. She's an artist and she painted something really beautiful and it's hung up in art galleries all around the world, including TikTok. As someone that really, really enjoys things that are meaningless or based on like a stupid little boy, I want more art gallery music. I think we're losing this as an art to be able to create beautiful music that's just beautiful no matter what angle you look at it. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I love a good song. Like I love a good melody. I love dumb lyrics. I love pop music, but once in a while I want to be hit with something that's like it's so deep that I feel something listening to it, but it doesn't hit me where it hurts the most. Like it you don't have to ghostwrite my life, but I would like to feel something for an occasion or an event that is not personal to me. From my understanding, I would say that the closest interesting persona that we've seen in music till date would be Bjork. I think that it's a well-known fact that Bjork was inspired by Kate Bush, but these are the kind of artists that they're just performers, and they're not performers in the way that maybe Ariana Grande is, because she's also absolute unit of a performer. They are performers in a way where music is storytelling to them, and they are able to become whoever they need to be in order to tell a story. Kate Bush being able to talk about Wuthering Heights in a song after being inspired by the book, really feeling something when she found out that the author had the same birthday as her. She really created this character in her mind, wrote this song from the perspective of this character, became this character, and that's why the song came out like that. And Bjork, she was this very whimsical person who was able to create art that was really interesting as well in similar ways. And I would say maybe the modern version of these women would be Taylor Swift, where she's able to embody a character that she's created in her mind and tell an entire story as if she's this person who has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. And songs like Betty, I love Betty so much, where she's writing from the perspective of a teenage boy. And I know that that was really strange and weird to a lot of people because she's a grown woman. But to me, it was pure perfection. I love that song so, so, so much. I already said that. But that song is what I'm looking for in artists today. Like, I want someone who has the ability to write music as if they're like an author and they can tell an entire story in like 3 to 4 minutes long. I want to be able to go through an entire situation with you. I want to be able to feel for you through this entire situation without relating to you. I feel like we have too many pop songs that are about heartbreak. We have too many songs that are about things and tragedies that we go through on a daily basis, which is fine, but I would like 1 or 2 songs that make me feel certain emotions that I could never feel because I'm not in the shoes of that person. I am not a teenage boy, so I'm never going to understand what it's like to be a teenage boy. Betty gave me a glimpse into that world without having to read a book. The reason why I would say Taylor Swift isn't exactly what I'm looking for is because although she's an amazing writer, she writes songs about so many different emotions. She takes you through so many stories. There's like nothing really interesting where she's still considered bubblegum pop to me. And my favorite album of Taylor's is probably Evermore. I do like the creative stuff that she creates, and I'm
a huge Taylor fan too. I went to the Eras tour, so
no hate towards her at all, and maybe that's not even the direction she wants to go. So again, this is just an objective saying. I'm not saying that she needs to be a different artist than she is. I would just like to have an artist where I listen to their music and it's a little bit strange, it's a little bit weird. You do a little bit of research digging into the inspiration of the song, you pull on a thread and it keeps unraveling. Like, I want more music like that. The artists that I can think of that are the closest to this would be Taylor Swift and Chappell Roan. But again, a lot of Taylor's music is just the classic normal person heartbreak story. And Chappell Roan's is also very bubblegum pop. Even with her new song out, which is a country song, it's still very, I want to use this word sparingly and in a very, very nice way, but it's very
Bland.
compared to what I'm looking for. So I'm very grateful for artists like Kate Bush and Imogen Heap, Bjork. I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm going to put it on the screen here. And I also really love Elohim and Still Woozy. Like, this is the kind of like groovy, weird, strange music that I adore so much, and I would love to find more artists like this. And I think that these are great modern artists, great inspirations. And I wouldn't be super surprised if I found out that a lot of these more electronic indie artists are also inspired by Kate Bush. I think she has such a broad persona that can inspire so many different areas. Like, I've already talked about hair and makeup earlier, and she's also inspired, like, I think it's so interesting that she's inspired the goth community, but there's just so much about her that's so interesting. And I would like to see more artists who are able to curate a narrative for themselves that become inspirations as well in more than one area. I think that we are not seeing a lot of that. I think we're seeing a lot of inspired by, not inspiring artists. And for that, I am very grateful that Kate Bush is so ahead of her time that we can still take tons and tons of inspiration from her, even remaster her songs for the most popular Netflix shows. Okay, this is all for this video. I'm overheating in this car now, so I'm gonna go, but I hope you find Kate Bush just as interesting as I do. If you have any artists that kind of fit the descriptions that I've given or are similar to any of the artists that I have mentioned in this video, please leave a comment down below, because I need to find more artists that make me feel something other than bubblegum pop. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Okay, bye!